Good morning, friends. It is still hot. It is August 2nd, so that makes a lot of sense, but it is hot in the Pacific Northwest where I am filming and teaching from. And so we're doing cooling practices. This breath I'm about to introduce, Bhramari breath, B breath, is a cooling breath. So when you inhale, right? When we start to exhale, we'll make the sound only on the exhale, and it's just basically a humming. It's called bee breath because it kind of sounds right like the bees when they're in the trees above us or around us, the flowers, etc. And so it has a basic humming. Suggestion in the very beginning, if you're just starting this practice, just let that hum be at about the tone of your normal speaking voice. That said, if you want to play with it when you're in it, or if you're advancing your practice and just kind of like exploring, you can go right? You can play with pitch. But for right now, don't worry about that stuff. Just bring it in right at that normal speaking level. And then the other thing we're going to try to do is when we hum, and you can try it, it really brings it into our mouth cavity. And that's a fine place for it to be, but we ideally want this to be in our nasal cavity and in our sinus cavities. So the way we do that is once we start to hum, we move the back of our tongue up towards the roof of the mouth, which will kind of stop that from entering into the mouth cavity, and we'll move it up into the nasal cavity, right? So let's just try that just to practice. So start with just the tongue down, and then start to move the tongue up. And see if you can feel a difference in where that vibration is. And if you're like, I don't know, don't worry about it. Let that go, right? And just make the humming noise, and you'll still get great benefits from it. But if that makes sense to lift the back of the tongue up to the upper palate, to try to move it up into the sinus cavities, add that in. Long spine. You can be lying down, you can be kneeling, sitting on a chair, as long as that spine is nice and long so the energy has passage, right? Close the eyes. That said, you can practice with open eyes. Inhale. And here we go. We'll do 5 in a row. You don't have to have my timing. No push, no strain. You don't have to have the longest breath. You'll go back to regular breathing after you've done 5. I'm on 4 right now. Then just notice the effects when you get there, right? The tongue relaxes, the jaw relaxes. And this breath has so many other amazing qualities to it, but right now we're using it for its cooling effect. And cooling doesn't always have to be temperature, right? Cooling can be if you're feeling like you've got You're really nervous, you have worries and anxieties, you're feeling really pissed off, irritable, right? Rageful. You've got a lot of jealousy and envy. Those are all heated emotions. So this breath might help you in that realm as well. And for those of us who have a hard time finding our voice, this could be a great way to start to open up that throat energy center, the Vishuddhi chakra. But again, as always, just notice, and your body will tell you about the practice, if it helps you, if it's beneficial, etc. Hands together in front of the heart, inhale. Exhale, bow your head in. A little bit of gratitude for yourself for taking the time and exploring, playing, resting. Namaste. Stay cool, friends.